Hey guys, hope you've enjoyed the brief insight into our Dawn to Dusk ride. What an amazing day! Lots more about that in a moment. But today I'm out somewhere called Ifield Wood, and I'm sitting on the meadowland, and I've got a brew, and I just want to share a wonderful story with you. Now, Ifield Wood is an older part of town. It's got this wonderful, rich heritage and history to it. During the spring and autumn and winter, you can kind of look across the meadowland and you can see old Ifield Church and Ifield Barn, and two really wonderful buildings. Ifield Barn nowadays is used for theatre, so what a wonderful use of such a beautiful building. But the reason why I've come here and the reason why I'm sharing this with you is that on Friday myself and Sarah went over to see my granddad. Now, my granddad for all of his years has lived and worked in Sussex, and predominantly in a little village called Cotform, and he was sharing this beautiful story with us on Friday or Saturday, Friday or Saturday, and I really want to share it with you. So yeah, he spent the whole of his lifetime growing up in and working in Sussex, and going back to wartime, and back then he would have cycled everywhere, you know, to his place of work, which is what they done back then. You know, they would all cycle to and fro, you know, places of work where they need to go shopping and such like. And he was telling us, you know, this wonderful story that he's been a woodsman most of his life and worked outside, and he was working not far from where I'm sitting today, up in Ifield Wood. And picture this, he's cycling along to his place of work, deep into Ifield Wood, and suddenly stops because he thought he had a puncture. So he looks down and the wheel is flat, so he jumps off the bike and begins to pump up the tyre to make sure. 5 minutes or so, a little bit longer, and tyres pumped up. He said it took him for ages. It took him a lot longer than normal. And he left it a while and the tyre never went down. He thought, that's really odd, that's really strange. So that isn't a puncture. What's going on? And then suddenly, you know, remember this is wartime, then suddenly looks up into the sky and making a horrendous noise was a doodlebug. And this doodlebug was heading down towards what's known as the Plough Pub, which is not too far from where I'm sitting right now, and it went down in the fields right next to it. Well, the ironic thing is that my granddad was heading in that direction, and as he said to me, and both me and Sarah, we just looked at each other and I kind of went cold, is that he said what would have happened if I hadn't got that puncture. Amazing story, wanted to share it with you all. And I shared similar stories in the past. You know, people have had punctures that seem to stop them in their tracks. And you know, from those times on, I've never cursed a puncture. You know, I've gone, right, okay, thank you, you know, that's all good, I'll just change the puncture. I mean, one of those stories, you know, was a guy that he was out on a trail, and he had been cycling for a very long time on the trail, and he was just about to come off the trail, head up towards a highway, and he had a puncture. It took him a long time to repair that puncture, and when he did, he come off the trail. As he approached the highway, he could see there was emergency services there, and there was a lorry that was on its side that had gone over and scattered all its goods, all of its belongings right across the carriageway. And he said, you know, he believed that if he hadn't had that puncture, he might have been caught up in that. So wanted to share those wonderful stories with you. And something that I really took from our Dawn to Dusk ride, you know, is that something that's been percolating and kind of stirring up in me in the last few months really, is this kind of whole idea about approaching life. Do we approach it passively or non-passively? And the reason why I say that to you is kind of, reflecting on Sunday's ride. We rode up into the city from West Sussex, all the way into the city, around the city, and rode back. Now, in the past, times that I've done that, going back a couple of years ago, times that I've done that, I've always cycled in along a long distance cycle path, which is trackway, bridle path, tow path, canal path, all the way into the city, around the city, and I've always got the train back. Why? Because that's always been comfortable. It's always felt very, very comfortable, always felt very, very safe, and didn't push me too far. Whereas on Sunday, absolutely, completely, totally different experience. I was kind of watching Sarah and Matt navigate the city, and I mean, we did really navigate it. We started off in Sussex, down the A22, all the way up, connected up with the A23, and then cycle lane, and then connecting up with the cycle superhighway, which, guys, is absolutely phenomenal. It's an amazing piece of infrastructure, just absolutely wonderful. They've done a really, really amazing job. And we went up to Elephant and Castle, and went up to a place called Recycle, which was very, very important, because Matt, in these last few weeks, has had all these bikes find their way to him, and he's set up a community page and a kind of community organisation that is all about giving old bikes a new lease of life, and for those people that may not be able to afford a brand new bike, they're able to take one of these recycled cycles, which I'm really, really proud to kind of support, and in every way that we can, and kind of create some awareness around it, because I know that early on in my rehabilitation from my operations, that cycling was an absolute godsend. It's changed everything for me, and a really important point in all of that is the bikes that I had, and all the bikes that I've had have not been expensive bikes. They've been relatively really inexpensive, yet they have done thousands upon thousands upon thousands of miles, and taken me places. Well, the places that they've taken me, with some of their photographs off the page and some of their videos. Even the bike that went up to Chantingbury Ring, which has a wonderful story, which I'm going to share with you at some point, is just incredible. So these bikes can take you places. So the whole idea is to get people, as Matt says, get people up, get them out, and get them connected. Give them a lease of life, and give the bikes a lease of life, and let them take them places emotionally, physically, and spiritually, places that they may have never ever been before. So yeah, it was wonderful to drop in and kind of get a feel for what those guys are doing at Recycle, which was up at Elephant and Castle, and then we headed out towards the London Eye, and from the London Eye we headed out towards Big Ben, from Big Ben, Westminster Cathedral, the Houses of Parliament. From the Houses of Parliament we headed out towards the Mall, which we bumped into the Ride 100 and the Pro Riders Start, which was absolutely beautiful and phenomenal. Something that lived with me for a very, very long time, seeing Sarah run along full of excitement, looking at all these pro riders and these pro bikes. It was just absolutely beautiful experience. And then from there we headed out towards Trafalgar Square, New Scotland Yard, Leicester Square, which we caught some wonderful street food, and watched some really amazing street entertainment, and then from there out along the embankment, the other side of the embankment, all the way down to Battersea Power Station, which they are renovating and turning into a shopping precinct and homes, which is going to be absolutely incredible as well. And then from there, Clapham Common, and then made our way back towards Sussex. And it was a huge day. It was 70 odd miles, with maybe less than 10 miles around the city. But what I really took from that is that there's two ways to engage life. Is something that's really been stirring is I hear people say when's this going to happen for me? I'm waiting for this to happen. When's it going to happen for me? I want this to happen, but I'm waiting for Spirit to make it happen for me. And what I've really learned and taken from these last few years is that there's a part of us that also needs to meet life, that we need to meet life and we need to engage life. If I look at Sunday, if we look at kind of passive and non-passive, you kind of in that environment where you've got buses, you've got taxis, you've got cars, you've got pedestrians, you had to meet that, you had to engage it fully and in a way be non-passive about it, so that you were absolutely focused and almost taking leadership of you within that environment. And I feel that Spirit quite often say to me is that what people absolutely need to do is literally meet life too. Is when you say to yourself, I'm waiting for this to happen, I'm waiting for Spirit to make it happen, sometimes that's absolutely correct. Is you need to allow things to actually align, or kind of as my runes this week said, is sometimes we need to stand still, we need to reflect. But also there's times where we absolutely need to engage life and meet life. And I know from all the adventuring I do is that you have to engage it, you have to meet it, you have to kind of take that leadership into that situation, into life. You can't stand back, you have to meet it. And I think that quite often when I hear people say I'm waiting for Spirit to make it happen for me, what really is going on underneath there is a fear, and absolutely a lack of confidence. I go back a couple of years ago, I couldn't have done what I've done now. There's no way that I would have ride into the city, across and around the city, and ride back. I wasn't in that place. I didn't have the level of strength, the level of emotional or physical strength, or the level of confidence and assertiveness that I have now. That sense of leadership has been born out of all these experiences, predominantly out of adventuring. If I'm honest with you, Spirit meets adventure is the absolute spiritual aspect meeting adventure, which is the leadership aspect, which is living from a spiritual space within inside of ourselves, and also kind of taking leadership and taking direction, or creating direction within our lives. And I think that that absolutely is what's needed at times. Is that think about those things that you're wanting, or those things that you're waiting. I'm waiting to appear in your world. What is it that you can do today to bring yourself closer to it? What is it that you need to change? What is it that you may need to let go of? What is it that you need to kind of bring into your world to kind of support you to make that happen? But at the end of it is always look at what is it that you need to kind of do? What is it that you need to meet? And when you're kind of waiting, is sometimes there is a real sense of a lack of confidence. Wonderful dogs there. A lack of confidence underneath there, and then what we do is we translate that to actually, I'm waiting because we're not feeling confident, or we're not feeling strong enough, we're not feeling ready. I'm a believer that change happens when we're ready, but at the same time we do need to meet it. So coming back the other side of that ride, it stirred up another lot of awareness, from our approach to our life and to our healing and to our growth, and all those things that we want to bring into our world. Are we approaching it passively? Are we approaching it kind of with action? What can we call to action? And if not, and if you're kind of going, what, I'm doing everything right and I still don't know why it's happening, is take a look. Be honest with yourself. At the heart of all of this, the key to it is absolutely being honest with oneself. As I said to you, going back a couple of years ago, I know that I would have been in absolute fear, and I at times on Sunday was becoming comfortable with the uncomfortable. But you know what, if we can own that and we can be honest with ourselves, and we can say, what, I'm not feeling confident about that, I am feeling fearful of that, I am feeling uncomfortable for that, I'm coming across in so many ways of being strong, but underneath I'm not feeling that. If we can own that, then we can start working on it. We can start kind of unpacking that and unraveling that. And I think that being honest with oneself is absolutely the heart of this as well, and then actually finding that level of, what, okay, so I'm feeling that, but I'm just going to take myself slightly towards that, and I'm going to become comfortable with the uncomfortable. So guys, few things to think about, all stirred up from that dawn to dusk ride. As I say, everything we do is moving us. A really big shout out of gratitude to Matt and Sarah, because once again I've been stretched, once again I've grown. I'm growing physically, I'm growing emotionally, I'm growing spiritually. I'm really being stretched, and all the time I'm growing, and that's exactly what it's about. We don't grow if we stay in what's comfortable, guys. I know that I can ride from here to Brighton, and I can do that every day of the week, and that's comfortable now. But we don't grow by staying inside of what is our comfort zone. Sometimes we absolutely need to step outside of it, which means that we need to engage it and we need to meet life. So have a think about those things that you want in your world. What is it that you're doing? What is it that you can do? What is it that you can bring in your world to support that? What is it that needs to go? What do I need to get rid of? I'm going to leave that with you guys. I'm going to wish you a wonderful day. Speak soon. Bye bye.